Dudes and dudettes, how are you guys? This is Chazzy and welcome back to What's the Damage and my next stretch of 100 videos, from now on. I told you guys in the last video, my 600th video special, that I was going to be, doing something new here on this channel for you guys, taking some new directions, The first of which is the scenario. You guys might notice that it's a little different behind me now, I adjusted my camera a little differently, and I don't know, I just tried to make a different background behind me so I could kind of change up a little bit, I think I'm gonna maintain this formula from now on. I think I finally got the camera right, the angle, the lighting, I got the little focus behind me, I think I did the focus correctly now. So now I'm starting to look more like an actual professional YouTuber, So anyway, the thing is that I'm going to be trying to take the channel in different directions, my content, my videos, and starting with this, okay? And hopefully today's topic is going to be something that's going to really make you guys think, and question how life works and stuff like that, I'm going to be talking about the great console war of this generation and the last generation and the one before that. Basically, when Xbox and PlayStation hit the gaming market, many years ago. In case you guys don't know, it might be pretty obvious, if you see my gaming playlist, because it might be obvious that I am a fan of Xbox, I'm a really big fanboy of Microsoft. However, I could have only afforded back when I bought my Xbox One, it was the console that I could afford, I can't afford to have all of them, because if I could, I would, I'm a very passionate gamer. I love playing video games in different forms, So to me, gaming represents something much more than entertainment, It's a way of life, It's a way for you to live different lives parallel to the one that you live right now, If that sounded a little too dramatic, I'm sorry, I don't really know how to phrase it. But the thing is that there has always been a certain rift between the consoles, namely Nintendo, Xbox, and PlayStation, Now, this started back in around 2005, 2006, where the Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, and Nintendo Wii were released, And even though the Nintendo Wii was far from the competition, it was more about Xbox versus PlayStation, And at the time, I considered the Xbox to be much better than the PlayStation 3, I thought that the graphics were a little better and the exclusive games were much more fun. Even though you could argue that, PlayStation has Uncharted, and God of War, and now they have Horizon Zero Dawn, There are Crash Bandicoot. There are a lot of exclusive games, that are really good. When the PS4 rolled around, they had Until Dawn, But all of those exclusive games aside, I think that, in my opinion, the Xbox 360 won that console war, because I think that, for one thing, the Xbox 360 released before the PS3, so they sold a lot more, And the crazy thing is that, it was really hard for you to meet somebody, at least in my social circle, because I didn't really have any friends who had more than one, Usually you had the PS3 or the Xbox 360 or the Nintendo Wii, It was really rare for you to see somebody embrace all of them. Pretty much me and all of my friends, in my neighborhood back in the US had the Xbox 360. We weren't really too big of PlayStation fans, but we did appreciate all the consoles, I grew up playing PlayStation. My first console ever was a Super Nintendo. Later I got a PS1, then a PS2, and I wanted the PS3, but my dad got me the 360, I don't know why, but I was very grateful, because it was a way for me to discover a whole new side of gaming that I hadn't known up until then, being so much of a PlayStation fanboy. But I think that once you open up your mind to all of them, you become a much better gamer than you could have been if you just stuck to one, The Xbox, to me, it's my personal favorite. It's the one that I most enjoy, because it's so much more convenient than the others, with Xbox Game Pass, EA Play, everything bunched together, and the exclusive games, in my opinion, are just more fun. Now, hey, an argument could be made for each one of the individual consoles, Microsoft, I didn't exactly grow up playing it, but a large chunk of my adolescency was playing Gears of War and Halo, and it was like my first foray into such a great franchise, because playing the first Gears of War, I initially hated it, but after I got into it with me and my friends playing and stuff, unlocking achievements, there was so much hype for the second game in 2008 that it was crazy, man. And that's not to say Halo 3 the year previous, you know, everybody played that game. Everybody was online. Everybody was doing the campaign, myself included, you know. But then when Gears of War 2 rolled around, it was freaking crazy, man. Like the hype for that game was fever pitch, you know. It was really freaking insane, and everybody wanted that game. Every single gamer who had a 360 wanted that game, you know. And I knew people who were fans of PlayStation who wanted an Xbox 360 just to play that game, you know. I was never too big of a Halo fan. I've always preferred Gears of War, you know. But it was really good to have this hype around these games releasing and playing online with your friends, you know. And PlayStation, I have never really seen PlayStation as an online platform, you know, because Xbox, I do believe, was the first one who introduced Xbox Live, you know, so you could play online with your friends, shooting games and racing games and all that kind of stuff, you know, fighting. So when the Xbox 360 rolled around, playing online was the norm, you know. Everybody was able to come together with their friends long distance, or people who were meeting up with at random, you know, coming together and playing these great games that was really fun for everybody to enjoy, you know. And it's actually really crazy because, I mean, if you really stop to think about it, every single one of the gaming consoles offers both single player experiences and multiplayer ones as well, you know. I think all of them really come together in this department here, and it makes it really easy for you to enjoy them when you look at them. That what the hell was that? Slender Man? Last night I watched the Slender Man movie, and every time I hear a noise, I think it's friggin' okay. But anyways, so what the hell was I saying? Oh yeah, so then after getting into Gears of War, there were other games that I got to as well. You know, the achievements were, I talked about Xbox achievements and PlayStation trophies in this video here a long time ago, you know, and it made it really fun for me. You know, it was really cool for me to experience that, and there was a really big chunk of the PlayStation legacy there that I missed, you know, with the PS3 and PS4. I played a little bit of the Uncharted games, never really finished them though, you know, and there are a lot of, I played through all of the first 3 God of War games, but if I had a PS3 or a PS4 today, there would be a lot of games that I would want to play, you know, that are exclusive to the PlayStation. And it's not like each console has their own unique exclusives, you know. You can't say that one is better than the other. It's just your personal opinion. Me personally, I prefer Xbox, you know, the same way somebody might prefer PlayStation or Nintendo, you know. But I mean, the PlayStation is good because they have been around for a while, and the same way that the Xbox 360 was more popular than the PS3, the PlayStation 2, you know, was more popular than the original Xbox. That goes without saying. There were many more games. It was much more fun, you know. Even when they were starting to introduce online broadband play, you know, the first time that I heard of it was in Star Wars Battlefront 2, you know. And like there is a lot of uniqueness as well for the PlayStation. I have a very strong attachment to the PlayStation because I did grow up playing them, you know. I recognize that they have really fun exclusives as well, you know, and they do make more products, you know. Sony makes, I think, also televisions, computers, you know, laptops. They make a lot of different stuff. It's even making me drool now. They make a lot of different products, you know, so I guess they have a bigger niche in the market, whereas Microsoft, well then again, Microsoft belongs to Bill Gates, who pretty much essentially created the internet and domestic computers, so they're both in their own little right there, you know. So yeah, I do respect PlayStation a lot. I do really like their games. I like their legacy. I like the way that they conquered the gaming market in their own way, you know. And in the end, I wish I could have a PS2, PS4 as well, you know, and sometimes I lie awake at night regretting having sold my PS2 a few years ago. And now we're gonna talk about Nintendo, all right? Nintendo is a very unique gaming company because all they produce, as far as I know, is gaming consoles, you know? Their entire niche market is gaming, and they were, out of all the ones that I mentioned, they are the oldest. They've been around since the 80s, you know? They released their Nintendo consoles way back in the day, so they have been around for longer than Microsoft and Sony, you know? So they know what they're doing, and they show that every time they release a new console, because if you guys stop to notice, Nintendo never really actively participates in any console war, you know. Like, okay, the Xbox 360, the PS3 released, and then the Nintendo Wii came out, you know, and it kind of sucked, you know. They tried to make something way too family friendly with their Wii motes and nunchucks, you know, and it didn't really sell too well. I knew a few people who had the Wii and they sold it very quickly, you know. But Nintendo just waited. they learned from that, you know, and they never really went out of business. There was never a risk of bankruptcy as far as I know, you know. They just waited a few years, they released a few more hybrids here and there. Then in 2017 there was a game changer when they released the Nintendo Switch, and honestly, man, I would go on to say that depending on how much you enjoy gaming, what it represents to you, the Nintendo Switch is even better than the PS4 and the Xbox Series X, Xbox One, right? That released in 2013. The thing is that the Xbox and the PlayStation back then, they were so focused on cutting edge AAA gaming, you know, wow, triple X, cutting edge AAA gaming, releasing titles with amazing graphics and over the top violence and wackiness, you know. They were really trying to go at each other's throats there to see who would be better. The verdict is, I don't know if you prefer the PS4 and Xbox One. To me, they're pretty much the same in the graphical capabilities, you know, all of their games run really well. It's really hard actually to see which one is better. To me, they were really tight in that department. But the Nintendo Switch was just there, you know. They waited longer to release it, and when they did, it was amazing because it's a hybrid gaming console. It combines handheld gaming with a regular console TV game. You can plug it into your TV. You could put it into the handheld and play it in bed or something or on the road, and you can play it with friends, you know. So it was really interesting what they did. Nintendo made a very intricate gaming console that to me was able to be enjoyed by pretty much anyone with that, whatever your tastes were, you know. Nintendo has always been very family friendly, so they stuck with their formula of releasing Mario games and Zelda, you know, Kirby, Super Smash Bros, those kinds of things. And there's never anything wrong with that, you know. Like, I mean, you could play Animal Crossing on the Nintendo Switch, or you could also go ahead and play Doom Eternal on an Xbox or PlayStation, you know. Nintendo doesn't care, man. They wait much longer to release their consoles. They release them when they feel they're ready, you know. And they're always so successful, you know. Nintendo represents the nostalgia of so many gamers, myself included, you know. So no matter how long they take to release a console, I mean, it's always gonna be amazing, you know. After the Nintendo Switch, I do believe, or a little before that, they tried to release something called the Nintendo Cardboard, but I think it was just some random knockoff standalone crap that really wasn't worth anything. But I think they released the Nintendo Switch Lite, you know. They might have released a few variations, but I don't think they have a new console coming out yet. They just released a bunch of games, and when I said, like, you can play online with your friends, you know, but obviously Nintendo is kind of like made for couch co-op, you know. It's much more fun having a couple of friends over to play Mario Party or Mario Kart, you know. And I actually had the fortune of borrowing a Nintendo Switch from a friend some time ago, and it was really cool because I played all of these nostalgic games, you know. It was so awesome. I'm starting to review them here on the channel as well. So to me, Nintendo is like, they try without really trying, you know. No matter what console they put out, when they put it out, it's always going to be very successful. So like, if you really stop to think about it, Nintendo always wins the console wars simply because they don't participate in the console wars, you know. They know they're gonna make a great console with great games and everybody's gonna buy them. The only thing that sucks is the price of Nintendo Online. Y'all gotta get on that, man. That is way too damn expensive. But aside from that, the nostalgia mixed with the nice graphical capabilities, you know, and the aesthetic makes Nintendo, in my opinion, be the best one out of all the three in every generation. All in all, guys, I mean, really, if you stop to think about it, there has never really been an actual console war, you know. I mean, the companies might have done this, you know, as like a marketing ploy to pit them against each other, but at the end of the day, it really comes, as a gamer, as a consumer, it really comes down to what the hell you prefer, and there's never any wrong answer, you know. Like when I was younger, yes, I used to really, you know, kiss Microsoft's ass. I prefer Xbox, but as a grown-ass man today, like, I really don't care. Like, if I could, I would own every single console in every generation so I could get a little bit of each world, you know. And it would be awesome to mix this up and do gameplays for YouTube, you know. It would be really cool. So, like, I really don't care. To me, there is no war. I am a passionate, avid gamer. I love to play games, you know, no matter on what console they are. So, when I bought my Xbox, it's simply because it was the most affordable one, you know. I was looking up prices for the three current consoles, which was the Xbox One, the PlayStation 4, and the Nintendo Switch, and the most affordable one was the Xbox One, so that's why I bought it, you know. And it didn't really have much to do with nostalgia, having an Xbox 360 for many years, you know. If the PS4 was more was cheaper, I would have bought that. If the Nintendo Switch was cheaper, I would have bought that, you know. But I am glad that I bought the Xbox for the conveniency, you know. Xbox Game Pass, I pay a fee per month, and I have hundreds of games that I can download and play legally for free, you know, for free, right? So I actually think that Sony really messed up in this department, you know. know, they're kind of messing up with their PSN subscription service. The PS5, the Xbox Series X, I think is a little better than the PS5 because of this, the simple conveniency. If you want to play games on the PS5, you have to actually buy physical copies, you know. With the Xbox, you get digital media if you sign up for Game Pass, you know. I don't think Nintendo has a similar thing. If they do, it's expensive as hell. So it's really, I'm like the opposite of a hoarder. I try to not collect too many things, so I don't have physical games at all. I don't have a single physical game. All of my games are digital media, so Xbox in the end is a little more convenient for me, you know. PlayStation does have more exclusives, you know. Not necessarily better, but more in quantity, you know. They have a lot more games in their market, you know, which are definitely much more fun to play, you know. And Nintendo was all about the nostalgia, man. You know, like I would love to play Mario, Zelda, Kirby, Super Smash Bros, all the games that I mentioned before, you know. It would be really awesome if they even sell Kirby games. I actually don't even know. But the point is that, guys, it's just there. Nintendo is just there, you know. They don't really care about going to war with anyone, you know. They always enter a console war already holding up a white flag, you know. Hey, we're here. We just want the participation ribbon, you know. It's all good. So that's why I'm always going to admire Nintendo. But I want to hear from you guys. I want to know what you guys think about this, you know. So shout out in the comments below, letting me know which consoles are your favorites and know which ones you prefer and why. I'm really curious to know your opinions, okay? And I hope you guys enjoyed this new format, you know, of vlogging where I changed up the background a little bit and the lighting, you know, trying to see if I can give you guys better content, so it's all good. But anyway, guys, that's it for now, okay? I'm gonna go. If you happen to like this video, please go ahead and give it a like and also subscribe to my channel because I release videos every single day. And while you're at it, go ahead and hit the notification bell to know exactly what time I upload because I do that completely at random, but always multiple videos per day, okay? It's all good. So this is Chazzy signing out for now, and as always, I will see you guys in the next video. Roll the outro screen.